But Cody's there with the combine. Well, that's husbands for you. I was supposed to get a ride to the field too. Our soybeans are basically half of our yearly income, so you just gotta suck it up and get moving. Oh, but the dust is horrible. I don't know if he can make it. Good morning, I'm Lynn, and welcome to another day at Ewetopia Farms. Today is a really cruel reminder of what's just around the corner. It's freezing out here today. I mean, it's not literally freezing, but compared to the beautiful weather we've been having, it right now I think is going to reach a high of +8 today, and it's early morning now, so I think it's hovering around that 1 degree point. So it feels like that nasty W word is going to be upon us before we know it. And luckily we had Cody get some of the beans off yesterday, because I don't know if he's going to get out there today with these wagons. We've got rain in the forecast, and hopefully it stops before overnight, because that rain could easily turn to snow. So anyway, let's see what's happening on this cold and blustery day. It's so dark now too. Luckily they have wool coats. Doesn't seem to affect the big boys at all. And if you listen carefully in here this morning, hear that? You can hear these girls all munching away. But one thing you don't hear is those. This is the first time we've had them off in probably a couple of months now. And I'm guessing they won't be going on again. I would be shocked, because it's that time of year again. Luckily, we still have a few leaves hanging on out there still. So it's still looking nice. Most of the leaves are gone now, but you get the occasional slow bloomers, so to speak, and they're still hanging on, which makes it feel a little nicer. I got a really nice bale of hay this morning. You can tell because it's really quiet in here. They're concentrating heavily on that hay. Katie always walks in tandem with me. She's so funny. You can see that it doesn't look quite so muddy right now, but that's because the ground is frozen. These girls have just had their grain, and Arnie's just picking up a bale of hay right now for them. Because as you can see in here, it's just the dregs that are left, so it's time to fill them up. I'm actually quite shocked because you hear that noise. And you see way back there. All that smoke and stuff. It's actually dust. But Cody's there with the combine. So that's really good news if he can get at least that bean field done before the rain hits. But we'll head over there shortly after chores. Well, that's husbands for you. I was supposed to get a ride to the field too, and now I gotta walk. Gotta love them. God, it's cold. Hopefully this walk to the field will warm me up. Because we got a wicked wind now too. Here we are walking by the ram barn. And they're all under their lean-to. Like I say, the sheep actually like the cold weather. Not me. Well, I've arrived at the field. Cody's at work. Arnie's sitting in the tractor with the heat going, so he's nice and warm. This is how much grain he got off last night. As you can see, the field's pretty well leveled. He's got a really big head on this combine. It's 35 feet, which is bigger than the last combines we've had. So he's making really, really good time. When they were loading last night, they had a little spillage. So that gives you a view of the beans. They look like nice plump ones. And last night he said they were over 1.5 tons an acre. Could be different now that he's gone into the center of the field. Hopefully different on the better side. But he's keen to go, which is nice, because our soybeans are basically half of our yearly income. It's not something we can afford to lose, like we lost the barley seeds in that last field. This is a huge income. And when the spout comes out like that, you know he's getting ready to load her up. Filling up 60-ton wagons, so they hold an awful lot of grain. Actually, 2 of those wagons, and I think one of the little ones, fills up a whole transport load of grain. But if there's any moisture on these beans, he will have to shut the combine down. So we're only forecast for 40% rain this morning, but it is going, the risk is there all day long, so it's a bit of a worry. And we still have quite a few more fields to do, but we'd be grateful just to have one field off. So it's nice to see that he's also keen to get going. And you can see by the size of those guys how big the combine actually is. Very large machine. So most of you have seen soybeans before on our show, but here's a stalk that I just found that's quite intact still. I don't know if I got it in focus very well. That's what the beans look like when they're in the pods. The pods are actually quite fluffy, and they usually have 3 or 4 beans in them. When you crack them open and pull out the beans, that's what they look like. Those are soybeans. And soybeans are used for lots and lots of things. We add soybean meal and roasted soybeans to our creep feed. But soybeans can also be used for human consumption, to make things like tofu and stuff like that. It's a high source of protein. It's kind of one of those perfect foods. It's a relatively new crop crop in Canada, like by new I mean like the last 20 years. Before that it was a little too cold for us to be able to grow soybeans, but nowadays everybody grows them because they seem to do really well here now. I don't know if they've changed the variety a little bit so that it tolerates cold, or if it's just climate change and our weather's getting warmer so it can grow here. But it's a perfect rotational crop for corn. Barley puts nutrients back into the soil and corn highly depletes it, so they go tandem when they're planted. One year one year the next. Now he's going to take off again. Woods is a fairly young farmer. He just got a grant so that he could get into the dairy system, so he's milking cows now, and he's taken up growing crops and some custom work, and he's working basically all alone. So he's a busy guy, but he's keen to go. So the dust is from all the stalks and pods getting ground up and tossed out the back. And the beans are being separated out and they go into the hopper at the back of the combine. There's all the little chopped up vines from the beans. They fly out the back of the combine like that, and they kind of spread evenly like a mat over the field, kind of like us laying down the straw in the barn. And this actually rots down and goes back into the soil, so it's also a type of fertilizer. But all these fields will also be fertilized shortly now that the beans are off with the manure from our sheep. When Arnie was cleaning out the pens, all of that goes into a manure spreader and is spread on top of this. So apparently there's a tree that's fallen down back there and gotten in the combine's way, so Arnie's just gone back home to get his chainsaw to get that removed for him. Here's what's left of the beans as they're standing here. They're about 2.5 feet tall, I'd say. And they have pods right from the base of the stalk. And it goes all the way up. So because the soybeans, these few fields of them, are half of our yearly income, despite the fact that we have a lot of input costs like the seeds and the fertilizer and the fuel and the harvesting and all that, they still yield enough to make us a lot of money. I'm not sure what beans are going for right now, but they tend to be in the $500 to $700 a ton range, and that depends year by year, day by day at harvest time. So, but we always kind of hope to get around that $600 a ton mark. So that's why we've been so worried about the beans, because to lose this amount of money would be devastating for us. So this is a happy day when someone's working against the weather, because a lot of people will only do it when the sun is shining. But we're getting in really close to snow and winter, and like I mentioned in a previous video, you can't always wait for perfect conditions, because especially when we're heading towards winter, those perfect conditions may never come. And if these get logged down with snow, they're basically ruined. Very hard to get back in. It can be possible, but it's such a stress, we don't even want to go there. Usually our beans are off middle of October, and right now we're just almost at Halloween, so we're only a little bit late, but the weather's been extremely bad, making it difficult to get them off, and the future forecast is like really bad too. So it wasn't like we had a week of sunlight in our future. Far from it. We have 2 weeks of rain and cloudy conditions like this in the future. So you just got to suck it up and get moving. These are quite the impressive machines though. Such a big combine, he can fill that bin in the back of it up really quickly and offload it quickly. Oh, but the dust is horrible. See, right now I'm standing in a dust cloud. You can see by the wagons and stuff how much dust it's creating. Go. And so you'll see him backing up and moving forward slowly. That's so that he gets the beans evenly in those wagons there. Literally, that's only taking him seconds to offload. with Arnie now with his chainsaw, so we'll go see what he's doing. So we're going to find the tree quickly. Back here, can't really find the tree that he was talking about, so we thought there'd be one like fallen over in the field, but we're not sure. Unfortunately, he's got a big head, and Arnie's thinking that maybe he wants us to clean the opening off. We're not quite sure here, so maybe he'll stop and let us know. We don't like to cut down live trees. Dead trees are okay, but I mean, if he has to get through, he has to get through. I thought I'd just slow this down so you could see how the head picks up the beans and kind of drags it along on a conveyor and into the combine. That dust, something else. So he's trying to get that little one down. It's just a shrub, but we might have to take this little tree here out, which is unfortunate because this pathway leads into our other bean field back here. And any beans that fall off onto the ground and can't get picked up are soon eaten by all the animals. The deers eat it, the geese that are migrating. Nothing goes to waste. There's our home farm right there with all the coveralls. Just cleaning up that little laneway for him to get through. We don't really want to cut any oaks down, so we're trying to get as much debris out of the way as possible without touching any oaks. It looks like he's on his way back here now because he's got our first field done, and we're not sure, we haven't quite got all the trees removed here, but we think he should be able to get through, but it could be dicey. But I don't know if he's going to be able to clear it or not. It's very dicey, and of course when you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars for these machines, you don't want to risk hitting anything, and it's kind of scary, really scary. I don't know if he can make it. Oh my goodness, yes he can, with literally inches to spare. That's pretty scary. He's not going to be happy about that, I don't think. Because that's pretty scary. But he's got her started. We don't want anything to happen to his combine. That's why farmers tend to take out all the trees around their fields, because it can damage the equipment. It's kind of a really catch-22 thing. You can see how wide his path is there, and that gives you an idea of how wide the opening has to be. We're just taking the lower branches off the little oak, and we're going to take that little shrub away. And this is a little dead, like a thistle thorn tree. This little one on this side. So I think if we remove those totally, he'll have no problems in the future. But you can see from the path there, he's pretty close on the side of getting through. But if he got through once, he'll be able to get through again, so. And because this video is a really long one, I decided that was the appropriate spot to pause it. And you're gonna have to stay tuned for what happens next. We do have like a week of rain coming in. It's getting late in the day, it's getting dark. Can we get a transport truck in time? How many more beans are we going to be able to get off before the rain starts? All this is yet to happen. So instead of doing an every other day video, this is going to be an exception to the rule. It's going to be continued tomorrow. So please stay tuned for all the excitement on the Ewetopia bean fields. Bye for now.